So the Gianni show today comes from my living room. Welcome to my home. One of the beautiful things that we do have right now is the ability to connect with each other during these times. It's interesting. It's going to get more interesting. Grant couldn't be with me here today. He's actually not with me. We're not in the same city right now. So, as a couple, sometimes it's best to divide and conquer, and that's what we are doing today. But I wanted to take up the topic of priorities. Priorities. First of all, the definition of priority is, let me just get it for you accurately here. I wrote it down. The definition of priority is fact or condition of being regarded or treated as more important. So that's what we're looking at right now, is what are our priorities? How do we prioritize? How do we decide what is most important and do just those three things today? What can you do to prioritize and accomplish three things that are a priority today and get those done? So I've been asked a ton of questions these days. I will go down the list and answer them as best as I can. First is, how much do you worry about what others think? I'm a very sensitive person by nature, so I will not lie and say that what others think about me doesn't, burden me or stress me out a little bit. It does. However, how much do I worry about it? I can't afford the luxury of worrying about it right now. I understand that I am in a unique situation where a lot of people depend on us. I am happy to have that responsibility. We have worked the last decade to be where we are. We have prepared for this situation as best as one can be prepared for a situation like this. I understand that when you are in a real boss situation, everyone wants to be the boss. What is it that Jay-Z says? Everyone wants to be the boss until they have to pay the checks. Yeah, well, everyone wants to be the boss until the boss has to make really tough decisions. And I understand we have put ourselves in that position where we need to make tough decisions. And if that means whatever that means, to protect the long-term survival of our staff, our business, our investors, our assets, I'm willing to make those tough calls right now and not care what other people think or what they print or what they say or what lies they want to generate. There are people out there, the higher you get, the more successful you become, the more wealthy you are, that are just going to hate on that no matter what. They will look at times like this when everyone is sucker punched in the belly, no matter who you are. This doesn't escape anyone, not even the wealthy. But there are those leeches and vampires of the world who feed on breeding chaos and who wish to harm and seek harm. And there's people out there right now that want to say lies about us or you, or they might want to do that in your business. And you know what? In those times, you can't afford the luxury of acquiescing to anyone right now, no matter what they say about you, what lies they say about you. Your job is to stay focused, keep your integrity, find the ability to be humane to one another, figure out how you're going to become a bigger and more powerful asset to everyone on the other side of this, and do what you need to do. Use your discipline even when you are not motivated because you want to cave into the anxiety or the stress of it all and do nothing. But watch TV and be in sweats and blame everyone else. Regardless of that, how can you that's what Grant and I are doing right now, is figuring out how we can become the best on the other side of this, better than we are today. And so we're prioritizing. I'm with my friend Bobby right now. She's doing personal finance courses right now. How to formulas for living, prosperity. What are some of them, Bobby? All of these courses I've done. So how else? You can get yourself dressed and fixed in the morning. You can reach out to people on social media. You can keep your contacts alive right now. Stay in touch with people for when this passes. Figure out what you need to do to protect yourself long term. And, we'll all get through this. There's no question about that. Another question here is, what are you doing to invest in your relationship? Because right now is stressful times. We're all feeling it. I'm not going to sit here. I've always been transparent. I'm not going to sit here and pretend like all is rosy and we're doing so great in our quarantine. Yes, I will make the best of my times here. I discuss this in my book, Build an Empire, How to Have It All. Sometimes during the most stressful times is the time where you have to infuse fun, humor. You have to come up with games to release some of the steam and the pressure. As part of my role in this relationship, it is my job in this relationship, and I take that role as a woman to be the stability, the calmness in this relationship. So yes, I try to infuse fun, be light. What am I doing to invest in the relationship? I'm trying to be a friend, someone that my husband can depend on right now for not being alarmist, but being calm and reasonable and rational as we discuss and bounce ideas back off of each other. Trying to take it easy on him, giving him a pass when he gets stressful. Hopefully he's doing the same for me. I could see a shift in the way he talked to me this morning. When there was a little tension there, he just diffused it. So what are we doing to invest in the relationship? We're backing off. It's a different time. We're not harping on each other. We're taking it easy on each other. We're trying to take care of each other as best as we can, checking in on each other. He just left a couple days ago. Before that, how could I make sure he's properly fed? He has food, water. I want to keep him hydrated. I want to just keep the equipment, in good health. Same for myself. I'm doing the same for myself. Someone said here, how do you deal with tons of stress? I kind of feel like I already answered that. How do you deal with tons of stress right now in the relationship? I have this idea that how they're putting a stop on the evictions for 90 days for mortgages. I believe the same thing should be implemented in relationships. I believe the D word or divorce or breakup or anything like that should be put on hold for the next 90 days. I don't believe you should have any sort of rash decisions right now in terms of cutting or wanting to end the relationship. Just put all of the evictions on hold, meaning in the relationship, put it on hold. It doesn't even get to be brought to the table. And you should pick a time frame on it. Is it 30 days, 60 days, 90 days? Certainly Grant and I started off in this relationship 16 years ago. When we got married 15 years ago, we made a rule that in our relationship we are not allowed to mention the D word. It's never, ever allowed to be brought up to the table, no matter what. In 15 years, there was one time where we were at a point where I had said to Grant, look, if you want out, I never said I wanted one, by the way, because that is the rule. But I did offer him at one point, I said, if you want out and you will be happier without me, then I will grant it to you as a gift. Because I love you so much, I want to see you happy. But if we continue on this road, we do need to change some operating basis in the way we do things so that I can better help you and I can also have a win in this relationship. And everything changed from there. So now might be the time to implement, hey, certain things are not able to be up for discussion right now. It's like the reset button, it's not brought to the table. What am I doing? My priorities right now are definitely making sure my kids aren't feeling the ramifications of this so much. Try to limit what they hear in the news. I was a little too lenient with that in the beginning, I feel, but I'm cutting that back now, spending more time with them to play games and have fun so that they don't really feel the stress so much. They do understand what's going on, but that they don't have to feel our stress from it. I do believe children should be shielded from adult problems. Let's see. Let's see. I think that's pretty much all I have. Do you have any other questions, Bobby, or did anyone have a question on the thing? Have you been reading any?
No, there aren't many questions. I think people just wanted to know how to fill their time right now, and I think you covered the whole self-improvement.
You know how I'm filling my time. I'm on a course right now. I am doing that for about 5 hours a day. I'm on course. The other time is I'm making sure that I'm controlling everything I can control. I'm drinking a gallon of water a day. I know I feel good. It flushes out my system. We're taking our extra vitamins right now. Working out. Bobby's doing the stairs. We can still do the stairs in my building. There's 33 flights of stairs. I see many people on Instagram doing the push-up challenge. If you can't do a push-up challenge, do some other form of exercise. I'm sure you can consult all the experts on Instagram for the in-home exercise. How create other things that you can do. Do family hour with your family and really use that as a time to fortify with your family. I'm holding family meetings. I'm putting the kids in charge so that they don't feel at effect of what's happening, but I'm giving them, assigning them roles in the relationship. Hey, you're in charge of, you're the masseuse. You're the masseuse hour, Who wants to be in charge of doing the towels? Who wants to be in charge of the dinner night? Who wants to be in charge of dessert night once a week? You're responsible for picking the groceries, getting it done. It's just creative ways to put the children in to where they're actually contributing and doing something and can feel responsible for something other than just being forced into a situation that we all appear to be, enforced with. So those are some of the things we're doing while we're quarantining. Writing a book. No one by the end of this should have a dirty closet or a dirty drawer. So this is the perfect time to dekludge, really assess what is a priority. I look at something like if I'm going through clothes, if it's not fabulous, it's got to go. For my laundry room that I just emptied out, it's if I haven't touched it or I don't need it, and I haven't touched it in the last year, let it go. Let it go. Clear out your space. Let your mind not have clutter to have to actually visually see. We have enough going on. Let's just make everything organized and clean so your thoughts are good and clean. Now is not the time to be drinking or doing drugs, in my opinion. If you read about these things, they are labeled depressants. Drugs and alcohol are labeled depressants. This isn't me trying to be judgmental and saying you shouldn't do drugs or drinking. But right now, if you want to come out of this on the other side, we have enough stress and enough depressing news information. You don't need to add to that by thinking in the moment I'm going to feel a release or a high from a drug or an alcohol, but later the after effect is it does cause a crash and it is considered a depressant. Same with a lot of sugar. I'm trying to avoid a ton of sugar right now, despite what you might see on my Instagram of us eating sugar every now and then. That isn't what I'm doing 24/7. I am actually trying to minimize my sugar intake. So I recommend, how can you use this time to not cave in, to be a leader, to get mentally and physically stronger than you were a month ago. And so set your priorities. Grant and I are writing down 3 things that we want to do every single day and completing that. So that's it. That's what we're doing as a couple. That's how we are surviving this thing. We're taking it day by day. And, if you can find 3 things to appreciate in one another as a couple and express that, and without having the need to be acknowledged for that, what can you do and what do you admire in your partner? Instead of looking at this time as a blame game or make wrong or finding things that irritate you the most about your partner, which could come really easily right now, especially being confined in small spaces without having the need, the option to separate. Write down a list of everything that you admire in your partner. Like, what I love about Grant is that he doesn't care what people think, that he is willing to make tough decisions, that he is business savvy, that he has worked to put us and our community, our staff, our investors in a situation to be able to sustain a hit for a long enough time to make it out stronger on the other side. I admire that Grant is a great father, that he loves his children. He would do anything for them, for me. I love that he's educated, that he's spent a lot of time, that he's so generous, that he wants everyone to succeed during these times, that he is stepping up and he is a leader and continues to be. There's so much that I admire about him. When I look at that, it's easier to let it go that, I don't know, maybe I can't even think of something right now, but maybe he gets agitated with me over something really stupid or insignificant. When I really look at the big picture and all the stuff that I admire about him, it's easy. It's easy for me to let that go and just be like, okay, just let it go. Just go easy on each other right now. Easy, easy. Your spouse and your partner are not your enemy. And how can you come together and really fortify and use this as an opportunity to have each other's back and to really figure out how you're going to make your way through on the other side and get creative with those ideas rather than being critical of each other. And there is a strength in pairs. There's not just pairs, there's a strength in numbers. So how can you use this time to figure out what you're grateful for and how, when this ends, how to continue to be, remember that gratitude going forward. So I believe everything has a bright side on the other side. Look, the air, I'm hearing air pollution is dropping. The canals in Italy are becoming clean again. So maybe if we all come out on the other side of this, knowing how to appreciate one another, acknowledging one another, going easier on one another, maybe there's a lot more benefits and upside to this on the other side than we're perceiving right now. And focus on that. Focus on the wins, not the losses right now. I know that sounds extremely difficult, but focus on the wins and try to make more and try to make firm those wins right now. And we're all in this together. We are all connected. You know, you look at the world and the globe, and you didn't realize, or maybe you didn't realize, I didn't really realize how much we all really interact and depend on each other, and how we are all part of humanity. No matter where you are in the globe and the world, we all are interdependent on each other. So let's figure out how to work more with each other in togetherness. And it starts in your home. It starts in your home. So be the example. That's it. That's the Gianni show today. Thank you all for being here. It means the world to me that we have family around the world. Mm-hmm. And I always have said how much I depend on you guys, how much I need you as my 10X family. Now more than ever, I appreciate you with all my heart. Thank you so very much.
That was so good. I started getting teary-eyed like 3 minutes ago.
No.